Sugarcoating Coach. How are you? How are you? Well, in case you missed the last live, I was just going to go ahead and continue. Again, I appreciate those who were on there, but you know how it works. Whenever there may or may not be technical difficulties, we just kind of start over. That's what we do. Again, I'm Coach Toy, motivational speaker, certified life coach. HR consultant, podcast host of Speak to Me First podcast show. That's right. You can find me on Spotify, okay, and through Google and wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you go there and click on Speak to Me First podcast show. Make sure you do that, okay? Please. All right. So, anyway, I was actually talking about making tough decisions. And so the live may have started and stopped, but you know, we're here, we're just doing it. And what I wanted to say was that there are many times in our lives that we have to make tough decisions. In fact, every single day that you wake up, you may have to or be faced with making a tough decision. That may include your career life, your personal growth and development life, your educational life, right? Personal relationships, whether it be family or friends, significant others. I mean, there's just so many times that you will find yourself making tough decisions. So it's not always easy. But one of the things that I wanted to come across today was to say making tough decisions is just that. It's a tough decision, but you still have to make it. But it doesn't mean that you make it hastily. You give it some time. Sometimes you don't have a lot of time. So if you're a corporation and you're, excuse me, you are the manager or director and you have to make a decision that someone is going to lose their job today, that's a really tough decision to make for most companies. But again, it has to be made. And I want people to keep in mind, when we're talking about making decisions, especially if it includes laying someone off and different things like that. I mean, it's not always going to be easy anyway. You know, there's no fun in that. But again, most often that means they have to come up with a plan. How are they going to let the employee know, right? So, hey, thanks for joining. This is live. There was another live that was going, a few minutes ago. But again, that may have gone out. So we're just starting a little bit over today. But thanks for joining. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel. Please do that. I appreciate you. And where are you joining from? Appreciate that. Hey, everybody's cool today. Excellent, excellent. You know, the day is going okay. And I was just talking about making tough decisions. Can you tell me, anybody on here, have you made a tough decision today or this week? Have you had to make one in your entire life? Because you understand that making tough decisions, it doesn't have to be difficult all of the time, but it's just tough and it's just something we have to do, right? Maybe the job that you were going for, you know what I mean? Just whatever it was. And again, you just had to do it, okay? What I'm talking about is think about the job that you had before whatever you're doing now. And you said, guess what? I had to leave that job because you wanted to start your own business, okay? Now, you may have said to yourself, well, I don't know how this starting my own business is going to work or if it's going to work. So that's really tough because most people don't want to leave their traditional 9-to-5 jobs, right? So you want to be, but you have to be intentional about what will work for you. So that's what I mean. When you're making tough decisions to you and, you know, about whatever's going on in your life, you just have to do it. And if it means you're starting your own business, and I hope some of you have started your own business, and you was really thinking about what are the next steps, is it going to be successful or not? And that's very possible, right? So yeah, the birds are flying. What's up, Cal? How you doing? That's right. They got it going today. Great, great, fantastic. So hopefully, when you're making intentional decisions, you're just saying, "Great, I've made it, and I'm moving on." So it just comes down to that. But just make sure you're doing things because of you, right? That's it. That's it. That you're doing things because you want to do for you, not for somebody else. Okay. What's probably, if you think about how many decisions do you think people have to make, like throughout the day? Like two or three, major decisions, whether they want to leave their job. What do you really think about how many people you think that want to actually leave, or make decisions to leave their job in a full day within a 24-hour period around the globe? It's probably so many we can't even think about it. We can't even think about it. So, doing well over here. Thanks, Sarah. Thanks. All right, great. Thanks for popping in. And hey, we're keeping it light over here. We're talking about making tough decisions. But what I say is, whenever you are faced with one, don't do everything just right away and do it hastily. Just make sure that you're doing something that will work for you in the long run. You see what I mean? Because what happens is, if you're just trying to please everybody, you just have to please everybody, then who cares? That means you're never doing anything for capital YOU. All right? That's the deal. So, but again, it just happens that we make decisions all of the time. Like, for example, I was using this example a little bit earlier today. As a speaker, a lot of times speakers may tell, oh, you think all the speakers are getting paid, all of this money all of the time. Now, there are some high earning speakers out there, right? There's speakers, coaches, authors, and everything, right? Thanks, everyone. If you're joining me and you're interested in subscribing to my channel, I appreciate you. And again, everything we do on my channel, on my page, is respectful. I can tell you that. So it's great. But I wanted to say that, sometimes a speaker may have to say, I don't want to accept that particular speaking opportunity because they're not paying, right? So what happens is, then they have to, or they say, well, I'll accept it, but they try to negotiate something else. Excuse me, they try to negotiate something else. So when they do that, if that works for them, okay, you do it. But what I tell people, think about what exactly is the event. How will it help you in your speaking business or your coaching business? And for those of you who are not speakers, you're not coaches or anything like that, just professionally speaking, think about the decisions you will make in your life that will help you. And I mean help, capital YOU. Not that it serves someone else, but think about YOU. And once you've said, okay, I'll go ahead and do that job, I'll do this, I'll do that, but this is what I want. Maybe you've negotiated something, or you say, well, there's going to be a great audience, and you'll be able to network with the people who are there, and perhaps someone will hear or see you speak and share your story with the world, and they want you to be on their stage next. Now that is a winning situation, right? So that's what I'm talking about. But anyway, again, thanks, hey, for saying, hey, this is some great advice, and these are really like suggestions. Again, you certainly will do whatever that has been working for you all of your life in terms of making decisions. But from the time we get up in the morning, you have to make a decision about something, even if it's, what are you going to eat for breakfast? For those who do consume breakfast. There are people who don't eat breakfast, right? But that's a decision, and that's their decision not to do so. So it could be something as to, well, you're having coffee or you're having tea. You have to make a decision. So, but when it comes to some of these, serious types of decisions, you really want to just take a step back for a minute. Don't feel rushed to make a decision in your life that may not work out if you say yes. And that's in relationships, whether it's family, significant others, professionally, whether it's career related, because some people decided, well, I think I'll go back and get my master's degree. Or some people have never gone to college to receive any degree, but they have loads and great backgrounds, okay? And they're doing well in their job space. And now they want to make a decision because they are interested in being promoted and they lack a certain certification or degree. They have to make a decision. Is it worth it for them to spend the money to go get the degree or certification so that on their job, it will elevate them in their career space? You got me? That's what I'm talking about. Tough decisions, you know? And if you think about it on a daily basis, there are always going to be decisions made. And you can be no different than anybody else. We all have to make them, as tough as they may be. And, you know, it's like every single day you're going to make a decision. Again, whether it just starts with, what are you going to eat for breakfast? How about that? So again, this was really all about tough decisions. And I usually talk a lot about career. I'll be starting a career series again. I do every fall season, usually running through starting October, which we're right now in mid-October, going all the way through pretty much November. And then I start sprinkling back on doing a lot more lives on in December, right? Leading up to the new year. So yeah, but absolutely, someone says, hey, different points of view. It's good to, yeah, everyone has a different point of view. And again, but tough decisions are just that. And some people say difficult. I use the word tough or difficult or what have you, but, you know, pretty much the same. I just kind of mean the same thing. Yeah. You know, high paying account. Yeah. Now you're making almost, you know, and it's tough out there. Yeah. You know, applauds to you, Calvin, because again, someone's saying just moved from California to Florida, had a high paying job in California, but in California too, the cost of living is so high there. So I know there's a lot of tough decisions, you know, just my goodness, leaving there and then going, like you just said, you know, moving to another state where the cost of living is probably less. But again, we make decisions, whether we want to purchase a home, do we want to rent space, what do we want to do? What works for our families, what doesn't work? So each and every moment, you're probably thinking in your head, oh no, I have to make a decision. But what I'm saying is, a lot of times, and this is from the life coaching perspective. So today I am a motivational speaker, but I'm also a certified life coach. So this is really like life skills lessons 101. You don't want to feel stressed or rushed into making decisions that won't serve you. And what served you years ago may not serve you any longer. You get me? So that's another thing. It just may not serve you any longer. Okay? So that's why I said that, you know. But well, thank you, Calvin. Okay, I got you. Okay, the bird in the hair. Hey. Okay, I got the curl going here. All right, Calvin. I hope I answered your question on that. But anyway. Yeah, I appreciate you, really. But hey, if you're interested in subscribing to my channel and jumping in on those series, they'll be coming up starting shortly, you know, this month. So probably going to roll it in starting out next week. All right. But I appreciate that. Yeah. And one of the things, too, is that the last point about decisions, it's amazing how you can be influenced by others who made their decision. And I'm talking about friends and family or significant others. They're making all of these decisions for you. Have you ever been in that situation? I mean, they make decisions and they didn't even ask you your opinion. What do you feel? What are you trying to do? They just made the decision and thought that you, capital Y-O-U, would be okay with it. I mean, it's kind of crazy, right? It's kind of crazy. But that's just how things can drive you bananas, because you're like, well, you didn't ask. No one asked you, would you mind, hey, what about, and this is interesting because I just saw that in the comment about relocating. That's a whole nother thing. You know, it's fine if you're by yourself, you're making all your decisions, but if it involves yourself and your family and, children or no children or whatever, just multiple people deciding, you got to talk about things. And a lot of those decisions are tough. And then you can get somewhere in a new state or wherever, or leave out of the country or whatever. I mean, you cannot even imagine that you've made a decision and then you get there and you don't like it. You don't like where you moved to. You don't like the new job. You don't like, just the neighbors or whatever it is. You have wonderful neighbors in one place and now you move somewhere else. You don't really care for them, right? So that can happen anywhere, but fortunately, I don't have those issues, but I'm just saying, but it's just those kind of things where you have to think about it. So you do your research. That is the first thing before you jump up and just say, okay, yep, I'm going, I'm doing this. Now, this is interesting too. A lot of times on the career, and I'll be talking about this even more because this isn't the career series, but because I have that background in HR, I always have my HR hat on, okay? All right, I do. And of course, as a motivational speaker, I'm here to motivate and inspire, and most of all, empower you to make choices that will work for you. First, like they said, you have to take care of capital Y-O-U first before you can take care of someone else. And if you're out there and you're trying to make quick and rapid decisions without researching, do your research. If you're not familiar with a company and you're doing all these interviews and you have your resume all out on LinkedIn, you got everything there on the professional websites, but you haven't networked, you haven't really reached out, you haven't talked to anyone in that realm or that industry. You have to do a little bit of networking wherever you are. Go to events, right? You may have to Google something if you're not familiar with a whole lot of networking. You just go ahead and Google networking events, in your area, right? And you just try to get to a few of them. And they're not all of them you have to pay for. So don't worry like, oh my goodness, I have to pay for this, this, and that. Not everything requires money to go to those networking events. A lot of times they're after work events, like between the hours of 5 to 9, whether you're on the West Coast or East Coast. But I'm just saying, it's kind of after work, because many people, what they do, they don't just go there for the free food and a couple of maybe cocktails, perhaps, but they also are making their next move. So when you have to make that tough decision, you can reach out and you have networked with a few people and you say, hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing. You heard what I said? Thinking about doing. You have to use your emotional intelligence first before you decide to sign on a dotted line. In life, in general, it can work. So I wanted to make sure that I touch bases on that point today. And again, I really hope you enjoyed listening to my content today. Again, I'm Coach Toye, aka No Sugarcoating Coach, because I don't sugarcoat it and neither should you. And again, check out my website at TJVEmpowersYou, the letter U.com, TJV empowers you. That's the letter U.com. All right. So have a great one, everyone. And really glad that you were able to, come in on the live today. I'll be doing more and more lives. Don't forget to subscribe, or you can share this live out. Appreciate you for that. And that was about it. All right. So take care. Have a great one. And again, the career series will be starting probably by middle of next week. And that should go on through the month of November, where I will be talking about career development, personal growth and development as it relates to career issues, okay, or professional, what's going on in the workplace, what is different now, how are people actually getting their jobs, how are people going about networking for, jobs. Not just that, but what about networking for business, right? All of the above, because a lot of us are still working our traditional 9 to 5 types of employment, but they want to start their own businesses. So I would first say to you is you probably should look into the business coach or, really researching business coach and really get in touch and tuned with those individuals that may be able to help you, because that, again, really will be a tough decision. But whatever you do, just make it work for capital YOU. All right? I'm Coach Toy, your No Sugarcoating Coach. Thanks for listening, and above all, thanks for subscribing. And remember this, success is in your future. Bye for now.